Hey you guys, it's Kimberly. Welcome back to the Twin Flame family. Thanks to those of you that are just subscribing. I see the subscribership growing every day and it's so wonderful, and thank you so much. Couple of announcements before I get to this week's energy reading for the week of 7/17, right? July 17th with the July 17th portal. It's also a birthday week for me. Where is time flying? Where is time going? Time's flying. I can't believe it. So I'm posting this video a little bit early, and that's because I will be away over the weekend. So if you book a session, you may have a little bit of a delay with me invoicing you for next week's sessions, but I will get back to you by Monday at the latest, okay? So I'll be in and out of my email intermittently over the weekend, but don't worry if you don't hear from me right away. You'll get a response and a confirmation by Monday. And so all the sessions are open for next week. It's just this weekend I'm gone. So the weekend of the 14th, 15th, 16th, I'm out of town. I'm going to the Brian Weiss Past Life Regression Workshop, as I've been mentioning. So I wanted to also remind you that you can go to the twinflamefamily.com and you can schedule, a private session or individual reading. And we also have just a couple of spots left in the August 8th Transforming Your Wounded Warrior into a Divine Feminine Goddess workshop. And you can book that under the Group Services tab. So click on Schedule a Session on the website and then go to the Group Services tab, and the workshop's there. A couple of spots left. Excited for that. That's coming up quickly. Yeah, so on to this week's energy. Okay, so a lot of you have been asking, what's going on? So first of all, I have a video from like a year ago about the 7/17 portal, and I think a lot of people are starting to watch that again. And I just want to remind you, that was like, you're going to find similarities. Someone commented like, oh, this is so relevant to what's happening with me now. You're going to find similarities. I already feel similarities in the whole wave of what's been happening month to month as compared to last year. But it is a little bit different, and depending upon whether you're a first waver, second waver, third waver, in the collective, you're going to be at different stages at different times. However, if you find that video, know that that was posted a year ago. So I want to speak to what's current for the collective. And the message that I have been channeling, and is so important, is that what's coming up for the collective, for both the masculine and the feminine, is the notion of right now is a time to focus on our sacred marriage to ourselves, okay? This has been coming in for about a week, and it's going to be the focus for the upcoming weeks. Sacred marriage to ourselves. What does that mean? This is about marrying our inner polarities, the masculine and feminine energies within, really focusing on that, how we balance that. It's about our relationship to our earthly self and the recognition and the remembrance of our divine self, and how we balance those two energies, right? Like who we are in the physical world and the remembrance of who we are as connected to our divine self, our divinity. And in that connection to our divinity, that actually brings us closer to our true powers. And that actually, as we remember who we are at the divine level, that helps us balance out the masculine and feminine energies within. Because we will just as we tap into our authenticity, we will naturally claim our feminine power and our masculine power within. When we're disconnected from that, so basically as we're walking around Earth School here and we are carrying around all of our wounded energy, and we have things in active vibration that we're not even aware of, like old wounds, old hurts, insecurities, fears, we are actually further removed from our divinity, from our authentic self. And so what most of us on this journey are going through is this process of true self-remembrance. And in that process, many of the feminine right now are really claiming their feminine power, like their true power. not their false masculine, how they've acted for many years, behaviors, beliefs, patterns, but their true power, which is rooted from within, which is as connected to their divinity. And for the masculine, it's the same thing. He's going into a period of stepping into greater truth. And that's what really makes him happy. And also, it's going to help him step up into his masculine power, a place that many of the masculine in the collective haven't been able to access. They've been blocked. There's been a lot of ego there. So again, it's our relationship. It's the marriage is the marriage of the inner polarities, the masculine and feminine energy within, the balancing and harmonizing of our earthly self, and also the true self-remembrance as connected, how that connects to our divine self, right? Our authentic self. And then also we want to take a look at who we are as humans and in this earthly world as connected to our cosmic energy as well. So like what is our mission here on Earth as connected to the cosmic energies and the universe as a whole and our place in that. So big questions have been coming up because of that, like marrying what we might deem as like our small little life as compared to everything that's happening in the collective, in the universe, the cosmic energies that are reigning over us, and who we are and what is our purpose in that. And the more that we unite our, that notion of our small little life, or like many of you have asked me like, well, if I get in my mission, how is that helping humanity? And it is, because you're raising consciousness. You're lining up with your divinity, and you're helping to raise those who are out of alignment with theirs. You are actually, and it's the coming into true self. It's the acknowledging your place within the whole, and the balancing the inner polarities that is going to help balance the polarities on the planet in your twin flame dynamic. And it's going to raise consciousness so that you're assisting others, not just through service mission, but through, in a higher consciousness perspective, you're assisting others to get on their authentic paths. You're helping the energies of the collective to balance. And I know that seems like a very grand notion, but it is in fact what is happening. So please trust in that. So looking at the cards and how we're going to tie this all back together, it's very telling. So I didn't feel guided to pull for the masculine or the feminine energies this week. I'm just pulling the collective energies, and in it, I'm going to have messages for the feminine and the masculine, okay? Because like certain cards and certain positions are calling to me more, and I'm just going to go with that guidance. So what's coming up for the twins is this Temptation card, and this is actually, it's Francesca and Paolo, and it's the Devil card in traditional tarot. And this is about, I feel like, the 3D obsession. They're saying to let that go. As I've been mentioning in my past several videos, it's time to let go of the 3D obsession with our twin flames. So whether that be the obsession to, reach out and have contact or continue, negative cycles, or to, spy on your twin flame on Facebook or social media, or, it's the expectation of like, when are they coming back, waiting for the email or waiting for the phone call. It's that temptation to obsess. And what I feel like we're being guided to right now is, with these new light codes being scattered, we're being asked to elevate. our perspective, and our 3D actions. So take those 3D actions, those things where you're moving the chess pieces around. Like I said, you're spying on the social media, you're, shooting out the text, hoping to get something back, and let all that go. And take that same energy and repurpose it and pull it within. And know that there's nothing that you need to do outwardly right now. No puzzle pieces to move, no little pokes or prods or anything like that. That the inner working and raising up into a higher perspective is going to help us release the obsession. And it's not working for us anyhow, because above this I have the 5 of Arrows. Okay, and this feels like, I feel like actually to some extent both twins are doing it. The feminine maybe a little more, that like reaching out and one not wanting to communicate, and the other one reaching out and the other one not wanting to communicate. Or like I've said to you before, twins in separation have checkpoints. They check in with each other. It's a way to gauge how far we've come in our healing. Okay. It's that check-in in the sacred mirror. And sometimes those check-ins go well, and sometimes they don't, in a 3D sense, don't seem to go so smoothly, right? It's either awkward, or there's negativity, or fighting, or whatnot, or there's a push-pull. But either way, that's there for your healing. It's a measure of how far you've come and where you both are at. It's a little glimpse at where your twin is at. But I feel like those checkpoints right now are kind of fruitless. So if you're really like prodding for it, like, hey, talk to me, or what are you doing, or where, what's going on in your life, or why haven't I heard from you? Or if there's just the notion of like, wow, it's been a long time since I've heard from my twin, like, that desire comes up of like, wonder what he's doing. Just let it go. You don't need to know that. And they're saying that any communication right now is going to be a bit fruitless. This is a time to go within, and for both of the masculine and feminine. The masculine are thinking it's going to be a certain way right now. And they're almost designing things. So the message I'm getting is that the masculine is kind of trying to design things for this. There's a little bit of newness that he believes he's creating, and it's going to backfire on him because he's not in his truth yet. And so whatever new things that he thinks he's creating, it's not that he doesn't have abundance or flow right now, because I feel like he does, and he's focused on work and all of that. But he's not because he's still in his ego very much. The new desires, oh yeah, I'm just going to move forward like this, or I'm going to find the new partner, or I'm just going to make it work with my current karmic partner. It's like, that's going to last for several weeks, but his bubble's going to burst, because it all sounds good to him. He's trying to make it seem more palatable than it really is. And it seems alluring. It seems good. It feels like he's trying to move away from the divine feminine in his ego mind, in his ego sense. But the truth is going to come through in August. And this isn't going to work for him. For many of the masculine, it's not going to work. So you don't need to be involved in that feminine through like the reaching out, the poking, prodding, because you're not going to get a sense of authentically what's happening to him, because he doesn't authentically know himself at this point. He's still going into ego initiative. So where he's taking initiative right now, he's doing it from a place of he's dreaming about things, okay, that he thinks that he wants, or he thinks that is going to be better than her, or better than his current life, or better than where he's at right now. But they're not core things. They're not like, oh, what's my mission? And they're not like, oh, wow, I really do love the divine feminine. They're more like, they're short term. It's what's going to fill my ego. It's what's going to make me feel good. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, I'll move towards that. Oh, that seems shiny and new. Oh, I'll go towards that. But that isn't going to work for him. And you'll see, because it'll play out, or they're saying over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So just, you don't even need to watch that while it's happening. Just let that happen with him. If you're a divine masculine watching the video, it's important to ask yourself right now, what does a new beginning look like for you? What are your true desires? Okay, where are you being led by your ego? What is really authentic? Where are you lying to yourself? And again, this has been coming up for the feminine too. Like, where has she had her blinders on in my past couple readings? This truth coming up. It's coming up for the masculine too, but he's not in full awareness yet. So if you are a masculine who is more awakened and you're watching this video, I'm saying get real with yourself. Get real. Because, you know, that new shiny sparkly thing may sound good. It may feel good. You might be drawn towards it, but is that really what you desire? And I think for most of the masculine, he's going to have to move towards it to learn that lesson, to get into his truth, to learn, this isn't really what I want, or for it to not work out. It kind of just like won't work out for him, and then he'll be in a place of greater truth. Let him make his mistakes. And masculine, you're going to have to make your mistakes. You're going to have to follow these impulses and recognize what's real. And I mean real from a sense of, you know, all desires that we have are real and we can acknowledge them, but where are they coming from? And for the masculine, these are ego desires I'm feeling. They're not like as connected to his divinity, as connected to his truth, as connected to his mission, to his purpose, as, you know, in his life, as in relationship to the whole. And this is going to create contrast in 3 to 4 weeks in which he will be reaching a new level of truth. The Ace of Cups is coming up, okay, and that's all about the new beginning. And this is interesting. It's not coming up in reverse, but it's coming up upright. And I feel like for both the twins, this is talking about, you know, a beginning of a sacred marriage within oneself. What is the truth? Where have we had our blinders on? Where are we leading with our egos? And as we move towards, as we take new action steps, as we move towards what we desire, where is that being initiated from? For the feminine, I feel like she's really stepping into full truth, full self-remembrance. And this is getting clearer. And this is going to help her welcome in what she wants to manifest. And also, she will be rewarded by lining up with her authenticity, because all those things that are in alignment for her authentic truth are coming in. She's stepping more into her power. For the masculine, though, I feel like it is that, oh, this looks, you know, look at this picture here, the crown, the cup. Oh, this looks good. It's again, there's a bit of temptation here. This looks good. This looks shiny and new. Oh, I'm going to go in that direction. But not really feeling like that's going to all pan out for him. So unless it's coming from a place of complete purity and authenticity, and he's just not there yet, but that's coming. For the feminine, they're saying visualize success with that new beginning. This is coming to you. This is new abundance. This is stepping into your power in a new way. This is going to work for you. And for the masculine too, success is coming for you as well. There's a good focus on your work. There's abundance. We've got to get out of fear-based thinking for both the feminine and masculine. They're saying vacuum away fear. Okay, it's also the 5 of Coins is coming up underneath, and that's about that feeling of like, oh, being left out in the cold, you know, that feeling of poverty. They're saying get in alignment with everything that you know, with your truth of it's coming. So many of you in private session have said to me, I feel like a change is coming. I feel greater abundance on its way, but then I get really disappointed by like the current state of, you know, affairs, or looking around at the 3D and be like, well, how's it going to show up? Or why hasn't it shown up yet? And I just have to say, the more you look at the how, the more you're going to hold the abundance and resistance to. It's going to be way out here. Let go of the how and just Keep aligning with the feeling of it showing up. Keep aligning with what you want. Someone said to me that they were looking to buy a house, but. Somebody else said, I want to go on this trip, but. Like, but there's no resources, but I don't have the down payment yet. And this is many of the feminine. And with the feminine, I'm saying, it doesn't matter if you don't have the resources for the trip or the down payment for the house yet. Keep dreaming about the houses. Keep imagining yourself on the trip. That's how it's going to show up for you, by connecting to the vibration of the energy of that you're already there, of that you're already doing it. And by aligning with your self-worth of, I deserve this. I don't have to settle for less. I don't have to not take that trip. I don't have to just save and save and save. I can spend freely. And then this is a big message that's coming up about money and abundance being an exchange of energy, right? So sometimes there's that scarcity thinking, the lack thinking, especially if we grew up in households where our parents were very stringent, or there was that lack thinking was existent in our parental family, with our parental units, and when in their marriage and in our family growing up. There's that fear that some of us carry around of there's not going to be enough, or, oh, I have to stick to this job because this is how the money's going to come. But the message for the collective right now is abundance is coming everywhere, like from everywhere, all sources. You just need to be open to that and not fixated or obsessing on where it's going to come from. Okay, because it's just on its way energetically to you, and that's where your point of attraction is in the belief of this is coming, and in your attachment to the vibration of it's already happening. Oh, this new house already feels so good. Let me create a vision board of what it's going to look like. Let me dabble in, so I don't have the resources for the trip I want to take. Well, let me go online and look at hotels, and let me look at the calendar, and I'm going to mark off when I'm going. I don't know how I'm going or where the resources are going to come, but that doesn't matter. I already know I'm going. I'm going around this time. I'm going to stay at these hotels, or it's got, oh my God, this feeling of like being at this beach or this scenic landmark, and it feels so good, and I don't need to know how it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. And then let it be delivered for you, to you. This is about letting the universe support you. And it's not that the universe hasn't supported you till now. It's that we've been standing in our own way. Fear, lack, scarcity thinking, fear of being left out in the cold. It's standing in our way. So the Princess of Staves is coming up as well. And she's saying, this is about communication, okay? And I feel like it's about movement. I feel like there's messages to be heard in the Twin Flame Collective that aren't based on 3D predictions. Go and listen and watch your videos about higher perspective. Share these with your twins if you're inclined to do so. But you don't need to or have to. If it's appropriate, you can do that. You're watching my reading right now, and that's great, and thank you for doing that. But when you come out of this, they're saying, go into 5D activations, go into 5D meditation. Listen to things about the collective and Twin Flames, watch videos, read blogs, read articles about how to access the higher dimension, about what this connection is from the higher perspective. They're saying now is not a time to, it's time for new communication. It's time for new ideas. It's time for a new way of thinking. And I think a lot of us have kind of been just obsessing about the 3D, watching a lot of readings that are like, oh, will you get in union with your twin or will you not? And that's not what it's about. It's about you, your sacred marriage to yourself. That is actually going to lead to union. But we can't be focused on the union. We have to be focused on ourselves. Funny that underneath these new ideas and this notion of sacred marriage, the past life cards, which are always early life, big overarching themes, things that we've carried through for lifetimes, the farm is coming up. And I want you to watch, if you haven't already, watch Teal Swan's video on marriage. And because the marriage really, the notion of marriage, okay, really originated over property and land. And I want you to think about what marriage means for you, what the sacred marriage is in your union, and what that means for yourself, okay? Because there's a notion of what is marriage right now. What does that mean for you? Okay, what is commitment? What is union? Because marriage, as we know it, like getting married, started as a way to facilitate land ownership, property staking. And watch Teal Swan's video on marriage. I forget what it's called, but just watch. It's just Google or YouTube Teal Swan and marriage. And underneath coming up is also, and I see this in a lot of the individual readings, the persecution and inquisition card. This is about, you know, where we've let go of our powers, or we've been forced to let go of our powers in our past lives, whether we were persecuted for them, or whether in this early life, in this lifetime, whether our parents or family members just shut it down for us, or whether we grew up in conservative households in which these gifts, our intuitive knowing, our mediumship, our psychic gifts, all of those things were sort of just, we've abandoned them because we felt like we didn't have a right to them. And they're saying, claim these back. This is the time to own our powers. Okay? Underneath the deck of that past life, the past life deck, which I always feel like is early life, our relationship to ourselves, the overarching themes, male, female. Okay, so this is the bottom of the deck. And again, this is about balancing the energies, the secret marriage within. Bottom of the deck for these, this is my Lover's Path Tarot, which I've been using, is balance. This is about balancing the inner polarities, balancing the masculine and feminine energies. And if you need assistance with this, you can contact me for a soul coaching session, and I will assist you in helping to balance those energies within. Usually there's like glaring patterns or glaring things that are occurring in our lives where we don't realize we're out of balance, or that we're expressing the opposite polarity out of authenticity or out of balance or in an unhealthy way. And I can help shine the light on that for you and help you get that into balance. Also, what's coming up the bottom of the deck for the Doreen Virtue Ascended Masters cards is Melchizedek's coming up with the spiritual law of attraction, right? This message for the collective is, if you get into your truth, okay, you step out of fear, okay, step into your truth, you will attract in more truth. You will attract in more authenticity. You will attract in more genuine experiences. You will attract in the abundance. Okay? So trust in the law of attraction, but we must get pure from within. And as we really focus on the sacred marriage from within, our external world is going to transform. It already is. But this is about really balancing these energies, really thinking about what this means. We must nurture ourselves now, okay? We must still focus on our health and healing. Okay, so this is coming up from the Ascended Masters deck. Mother Mary, Hilarion. This is about taking time with ourselves. So as we're focusing on balancing the inner energies, this is about finding new ways to care for ourselves. If we have an ailment or something physical that's coming up for us, or if we're just feeling sluggish, this is about energetic cleansing healing, finding holistic ways to heal ourselves, nurturing our bodies in the right way, spending time in nature. And also with Mother Mary, it's very much about just self-love, self-care. If we're feeling exhausted, rest. If we're feeling hungry, feed ourselves good whole foods. Listen to your body. As you're doing this work, drink a lot of water. Rest. Don't run from your emotions. Just be with them. Be present with them. Love yourself. Hug your inner child. Give yourself a hug. These are all very important messages, and it's very much about sacred union right now. I've told the story to some friends and a couple of clients of mine, but I have been seeing 7-Eleven and 7-17 everywhere for the past month and a half or so, and it's increased. The signs and synchronicities for me have increased in their frequency, and the cadence has been more intense over the past several weeks. So as you know, we've already passed the 7-Eleven date, and we're coming up on the 7-17 portal. And along with those signs, I've seen a lot of, with the numbers, I've also had words and symbols, and they've read like this: 1, we, I wed you too. One, and then like circular hole. So at first I was like, what? What does this mean? 1, we? Very interesting too, because if I looked at it in my personal dynamic, I've just gone from a place of physical togetherness to a separation. So we're going from we to one. So it didn't fit. And even though I'm talking about on a physical level, in a 3D sense. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, what does this mean? And then as I was getting these channeled messages about sacred marriage and sacred union, I said, oh, this is what it's talking about. This is about the relationship of ourselves. And the 1, I wed you too. I marry myself too. Nobody else is going to want to marry you if you cannot be married to yourself. This sacred union, sacred relationship or sacred marriage with your twin flame cannot happen in a harmonious way if we do not love ourselves, if we are not balanced within ourselves. So marry yourself first, and then watch how these unions will evolve and will transform, and how the possibility for union with your twin will line up for you. In today's society, we get married before we love ourselves sometimes, okay? And that creates friction, because in the dynamic, we get into a relationship and we don't completely love ourselves. So then we get reflected back to us that lack of love, that lack of self-worth, all the insecurities, all of that. And that this is what comes up often in the twin flame dynamic. So I want you to recognize the importance of marrying yourself in the relationship to sacred marriage, sacred union. And for the two souls that are one in the twin flame connection, you must marry yourself first before union will be possible. So think about that, what that marriage is, and balancing the inner polarities, harmonizing your inner masculine and feminine energies, who you are as a human, and in relationship to your divine connection, your divine self, a true self-remembrance, and then what your earthly life means in relationship to the whole, to the cosmos, to everything in the universe, and what your purpose is. How do we balance all of those things and nurture ourselves and fall in love with ourselves again, and claim our powers, and create success, and attract in what we want to attract in our lives? And they're saying it's all about balance. Venus and Vulcan, balance. Balancing the inner polarities. So I'll leave you with that for this week. Again, if you want to check in or have a session with me, it's thetwinflamefamily.com. And I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay, bye.